I didn't feel there was a way out. I felt like I was stuck there. I didn't know how to get out of it. Like, I need to do it right away. And if I don't do it right away, then it's a failure. I always gave up. My mindset had shifted. That was one big win, the coaching clients. I got to freelance gigs. It was also a big win. And I have launched my product. And I feel like I have the mindset and the tools now to keep creating what I want to create.
What things were like for you before we started working together?
I really had a lot of things happening at the same time. I had freelance gigs, trying to build my online business, and there was just an awful lot going on. And I always felt like I never had time to do anything really right. And so I never felt like I was actually moving forward, especially with the online business I was trying to build, because all the other things were always pulling me in so many different directions that I never had the space to sit down, think it through, and then also carry it through. And I think I always felt, because of my background as a project manager, I should be able to do it and I should know how to structure my things. And I think theoretically I was able to, but I was lacking the belief in the fact that whatever I was starting to build will somehow be successful or bring me something or will get me where I want to be. And so I just kept procrastinating certain things, or I start building and then it didn't work right away the way I thought. And then I just flipped the table and I'm like, okay, I'll start again. And I think that's where I was at. And I also think I was always someone who was very independent in my working style. I was always kind of not necessarily asking for help because I feel like I need to do it right. Because if I don't do it right and someone might suggest me something I could do better, then it's a criticism on me not being good enough. And so I think this is the place where I was. And so I was just running in circles all the time.
What was your goal at that time?
I wanted to create an online one-on-one coaching offering. I was questioning a lot whether what I wanted to offer was an actual product and if I could really narrow as much down my niche, or if it would be too much. I think that's more or less what it was. I was like, can I really go there? Do I really have the skills? Can I do it? And then the second part was, how narrow is too narrow?
What was blocking you or making it difficult to achieve your goal?
I think it was me, myself, and I that was blocking me. It was my mindset and the belief in myself. And now, retrospectively, I think if I look back at it, it was really kind of not knowing whether I would get there. And at the same time, this kind of feeling like I need to do it right away. And if I don't do it right away and I don't kind of go all the way immediately, then it's a failure. And then I always gave up because I thought it's wrong what I'm doing.
What was the most painful part of that situation you were in?
That I didn't feel like there was a way out. I felt like I was stuck there and I did not know how to get out of this. In Germany, we are always talking about a hamster wheel that you're running. And I felt like I didn't know how to get out of it. I just kept going. I kept flipping tables, throwing everything overboard, starting from scratch again. And then obviously, because never fully carrying something through and kind of sticking to a plan, I could never get somewhere. And so I think that was it.
Before deciding to look for support, what had you tried to achieve your goal?
I did a lot of things, and I think I did a lot of the right things somehow already, but I think I did all of it, if I can say it that way, half-assed, because I'm like, I don't dare to go all in on it because I don't know if it's the right thing to do. And I think I don't know, I was posting a bit on Instagram. I was adjusting my website a tiny bit. I mentioned it in a newsletter that I had for my yoga studio. And it was always this like actions here and there. But I never really sat down and dared to take time to make a plan or anything. And I just did things here and there.
So you were like trying a bit, and if you did not see someone really saying, I love this, I want to work with you, then you feel like this is not working, no? Would like to tap into one topic, and is the topic of daring to put yourself out there. How did you live with this of not daring to put yourself out there?
I think it was always that I was very careful in what I was phrasing. I was very careful of what I was saying so that I wouldn't come off the wrong way. That's probably something that other people within the industry resonate with as well. If you're someone who has done a lot of training and has worked around and read a lot around science as well, but also kind of slightly alternative ways that have maybe not kind of like Western science proof on it just yet, you're always like, oh, maybe I'm just being seen as someone who, I don't know, is too alternative, who's kind of not connected to reality, you know? And I was very careful of not appearing that way. And I think that really held me back from putting myself fully out there. And yeah, I think that's why I didn't dare to show myself fully or my opinions fully necessarily.
How long had you been trying to figure it out on your own before asking for support?
It has been going on for, I'd say, like 2 or 3 years to some extent.
Wow.
I did reach out for a little bit of help at some point, but again, also then didn't really fully carry through because there was also not a committed program in a way where that I signed up for. It was not enough to actually get me out of where I was at, and that it was not about the techniques, the tools, but about the mindset. And I think this is why it took me a while to then reach out again. And I was realizing either I get kind of a sparings partner and someone from the outside that can support me, or I just drop it altogether and that's it. That was kind of where I was at because I'm like, I'm not going to continue doing this in this way. I see it's not working and just I don't know the exact phrase, but it's basically just an idiot keeps doing the same thing and expects a different outcome. And so that's the place
Mm-hmm.
where I was at. I'm like, either I just stop this and look for something very different, or I do one last step and kind of get help again. And I think that's where I was at.
I'm so happy you took that step because now you are like in this different stage, of your business and life. And congratulations to the old version of Svenja too,
Yeah.
to be brave enough to take the step. What made you decide it was time to get support? Was there a specific moment that made you realize you didn't want to keep doing it on your own?
Two things. The fact that I then had a partner, or I now have a partner who also is self-employed and then had opinions on my business and was a really clear mirror for myself. You know, when you're by yourself and you're kind of just doing the thing in silence, nobody sees really what you're doing, and you kind of just keep turning in circles. You could always tell yourself, like, oh, it's not that bad and I'll figure it out sometime. And when you then have a mirror in front of yourself, you're like, no, I'm actually just keep doing the same thing and I'm not actually doing anything or getting anywhere. I think that's what happened to me where I then realized, no, I really need to change something here because it's not
Mm.
working. And then also that my personal circumstances would have changed in terms of location. And so there was more urgency behind figuring out how to make money online. And I
Mm.
could not just keep hiding behind my other business that I have that kind of kept covering everything, but that it needed to actually start picking off.
I think I remember you telling me it was not easy for you to ask for help.
This idea if someone else gives you advice or suggests something or feedback. And sometimes it's coming from a really good place. And sometimes it's really just like, oh, have you tried this? Or you could do a collaboration with, or I have this idea for you. And back then I was in a place that as soon as someone would say that, I would be beating up myself about it because I would be like, oh, why have I not thought about it before? So it would always kind of impact my self-worth. That's why I never really reached out for help or kind of asked anyone because I felt I need to solve it myself. And if I don't, then I'm not good enough.
I remember you explored different coaches before making a decision. I'd love to know what was it that made you choose to work with me?
What felt just really good about the conversation we had and about the style of coaching or the vibe that I got from you around the coaching is that you were kind of on my side. You know, you were not like and kind of on eye level. You know, it was not this kind of like I have the wisdom and I have the knowledge and I tell you how you do it and I kick your butt to kind of, that kind of attitude. But it was more like, we'll figure it out together and I'm by your side. And I felt you would be someone who kind of would give me space to, in my pace, figure it out myself rather than external pressure. It was more like, hey, I give you the space to figure it out and I'll see in what pace we can actually move forward. And that felt really good for me at the time because I had so many gigs running and I felt like I don't have the capacity to have like an 100% dedicated coaching in this moment because I just needed the rest for financial support. So I could not just stop it. And that's why it felt so good. That is like on eye level, not talking down, not the teacher, but a path or like a space where I could grow myself, where it's not that I take in whatever you give me, but that I could grow myself. And so I think that was more of a sustainable way of coaching for me, where I as a person can grow rather than I need to perform based on whatever you think is right.
Okay. And also you mentioned in the past that was important for you that you still feel you are the leader, right, of your business, like you are leading your business. No, it's not that I'm telling you you should go to this direction, no?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I mean, ultimately, I think two things to that. I think one thing is that you are self-employed and running your own business because you want to be in charge. I think that's
Mhm.
maybe an ego thing as well, because you're like, I want to be. But I think the other part is that I think it's just so much more sustainable if I can grow and evolve in the process and really integrate and embody it, whatever I'm taking, rather than the teacher telling me what to do. And then I just follow. And then we stop the coaching at some point, and then I'm left without an awful lot of personal development again. And so that was the reason for me.
Before making the decision, what were your biggest doubts or concerns? I remember you mentioning that it felt like a significant investment for you, and I'd love to know about what was going through your mind at the time.
For me, it was the financial investment that I was never questioning the worth of the coaching. I didn't question that, but for me at the time, it was just a significant amount to kind of spend. And then I also needed to make in my head the calculation, if I do spend the money, will in some way, obviously as any business investment, will it come back to me? If it's the investment that will bring ultimately in the long run money to me as well. So it was a big leap of faith for me to actually start it, but it was the right step. And I am very happy that I took that leap of faith.
I'm very happy for you too. It's been really wonderful, the journey. There was something else, like any other doubts or concerns, so it was just the financial.
I mean the financial, and then obviously if what I hoped I would have seen in the conversation and how it could evolve our coaching, that it was actually how it's going to be like, because when you have a few conversations initially only, you don't know for sure. And I think that was the other thing, is like, because I did talk to several coaches, and it was for me like this gut feeling. It's like, okay, what do I actually want and what do I need? And that took a little bit of time. And I very clearly then just felt that what I needed in that moment, kind of the mindset, a bit of reassurance as well, and kind of a bit of, yeah, also cheerleading sometimes. I think that's what I could get from this coaching, and
Mhm.
it did not disappoint.
Awesome. What was it that finally made you say, okay, I'm going to do this? What did you see or what happened that gave you the confidence to take the step?
I actually had a really good conversation with someone, and I was talking about the different coaches that I spoke to and kind of the feeling that each of the conversations left me with, and the explanation that I just gave around kind of more of like a teacher relationship that would tell me like what to do and what is right or wrong, versus someone who kind of rather encourages and gives a bit of space to kind of figure it out myself. When I had that image in my head and kind of representing the different coaches, I think that really, really helped me to then take the decision to say like, okay,
Mhm.
Mario.
Looking back, what has changed in your business and in your life since we started working together?
What has really changed for me is that I have a plan and I stick to the plan, and I really do carry things through. So I'm not just like dropping things and then doing something different and dropping again and doing something different. I'll explore different things, but kind of the North Star is still there, and I'm not deviating from that. So that is a big thing. I think it's this taking things one step at a time, not needing to be perfect right away, but having first positive interactions with people, or having the right content out there, or narrowing it further down, all those small steps that they lead me into the right direction, and that is good enough. And I think the good enough is also a big thing. So it's a matter of clarity, small steps instead of like big goals right away, and the belief in myself that if I want, I can. Yeah.
It has a feeling of more enjoyment and less pressure through the journey too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Also, during the process of the coaching, I have, apart from the business that I'm building, I've also had on my work and freelance side also a few changes and built a certain level of stability, which is something that the coaching process with you has also really supported me through, and kind of celebrated me for my achievements there. That was really required to now have the baseline to do what I want to do right now. And the coaching with you has gone beyond just my business and my quarterly planning and kind of really impacted overall how I'm structuring, I'd say, my work life generally. I've always also been creating or trying to create my online business under kind of a lot of pressure and urgency because I felt financially that it's just really important to build it as quickly as possible. Whereas what I really wanted in regards to that business is, I think, ease and lightness and the joy and space for creativity and to maybe make a mistake and then go back and kind of, change slightly the direction without this constant pressure. And that's why I did decide on online freelance gigs that create safety and security, which is what was essential for me so that I can then enjoy building my business. And so that was also part of the whole process why maybe in terms of like building my online product, I've not been as fast and as quickly as maybe initially we had thought about. But ultimately, I'm in a much better place now to really build the business or continue building it in the way that I want to sustainably create it.
What are the biggest wins or achievements you feel you've had along the way?
To coaching clients, not exactly for the product that I've just launched, but I would not have gotten if we hadn't started coaching because my mindset had shifted. The way I was presenting myself, the way I was talking to people who were interested in potentially working with me, that was one big win. The two coachings. I got two freelance gigs was also a big win. And the other part is that I have launched my product and that I feel like I have the mindset and the tools now to keep creating what I want to create.
Muy bien, bravo. Love it. How do you feel now compared to how you felt before we started?
Much lighter. That's the big one, much lighter. And I've done a bit of reflection recently, and I didn't have headspace for that before we started working, and now I have a bit more headspace to kind of do a reflection, to kind of think about the perspective that I want to take. And I think how I want to keep building my business is from a place of curiosity and thoughtfulness. Both of those for me mean lightness, so ease. Those are the two things that I'm really taking from the last couple of months that we have worked together. Much lighter, more confident, and regained the belief in myself that I can do it. Because I've had a career in tech and I was very confident in my job. But then I think self-employment is just a very different beast. And I think it kind of holds a mirror up to front of you to show you a lot of things that you maybe thought you would have worked on personally already, which might need a bit more attention. And I think this is where you really helped me to kind of regain more of my confidence in a work and business environment perspective.
What was it about this program that helped you achieve those results that you mentioned?
One is the consistency from you. That was something that I personally was lacking. And I think having someone else bringing that into your life really helped me to kind of implement it in my life more as well. So I think the consistency, the positive can do attitude and the belief that you kind of in all the coachings you kind of really brought into that, and also the weekly reflections, the feedback that I got there, that was really really helpful. And then I think some of your personal experience having built your own business was really valuable for me as well, to dare to do certain things that might take a little bit of extra time but ultimately bring me into the right direction.
Thinking back, when did you first notice that working together was already making a difference for you?
First session. I think just the attitude in the like the attitude that I left the very first call with, I think was a massive change and a really big help. There was enthusiasm about what I wanted to build again. There was excitement for that. And I mean, as every change takes a little bit of time and it's sometimes like two steps forward, one step back, I sometimes then fell back into one of picked me up again and kept bringing me into the right direction. So that towards the end of us working together, I feel I now whenever I do fall into my little trap again, I can pick myself up again. Where in the beginning, I needed a lot of support from you to kind of get there again. And so going back to the question immediately.
Awesome. Many people come to me already feeling overwhelmed and wondering whether they'll have the time and energy for a program like this. They worry it might just become another open tab in their mind. What was your experience? How manageable did the process feel for you?
Very manageable because you really adjusted to the time that I had, and I really, really appreciated that. It did help me to create a bit more clarity really, really quickly. And this is why it also then helped me to not feel as overwhelmed any longer. So this is why it didn't feel like an additional tap when I really was kind of, there was just like basically my limit reached. It was possible to kind of potentially work a day later with you or kind of move it out by a couple of days. There was big flexibility. It was always around my needs, and it did help me to reduce overwhelm overall significantly.
That's an interesting point, right? That I wanted to know if you think and feel the same. Like a lot of the overwhelming, it gets reduced also in the session because could be, and most of the times it happens that the overwhelmed feeling comes from you thinking and thinking and not finding the answers, and the session is giving you the answers somehow. So you're like, now I can continue. Is that right?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So that was it basically. So it gave me clarity on the things that I had to do for my online business. And then also again and again helped me to structure a little bit my weeks a bit more effectively so that, yeah, it didn't feel like too much.
What have you learned about yourself throughout this journey?
Um, I am more capable than I thought I am. And I really think that I can trust my gut on a lot of things as well. This is the other part. And that I dare also now to take certain decisions that might not be 100% the standard for the industry that I'm in, or maybe not this kind of fast pace, quickly building my business, but that it's my way of doing business and how I want to build a sustainable business. And I think this is also thanks to the coaching and the process.
If you could go back and speak to the version of yourself who was questioning whether this investment would be worth it, what would you tell her today?
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go for it. Because it is not your abilities that are stopping you, it's your mindset and your belief.
If someone was considering working with me and asked you, what can I realistically expect from working with Mario? What would you tell them?
You can realistically expect to shift your mindset to a can-do attitude, and so that you start actually moving towards the goal that you want to reach.
Beyond the practical results, what do you think people gain from working with me that they might not expect?
Seeing very clearly their achievements and celebrating their wins. That is something that I did not expect that it would be huge in terms of impacting how I conduct business, but it did.
If someone asks you why they should work with me instead of another coach or mentor, what would you tell them?
Because Mario is fully dedicated to your development and really walks the path with you. He sees you and holds a space for you and supports you and gives you the room to really grow and do what you want to do.
Thank you so much
You're
for
very
trusting me
welcome.
throughout this journey. Watching you grow over the past months has been a real privilege. And as one chapter comes to an end, another one begins. And I have no doubt you're going to help a lot of people with your offer.
Thank
And
you.
I'm really excited to see where this new chapter takes you. And you're so awesome. And it's been really wonderful to work with you.
I really, really enjoyed the whole experience, and it helped me so much. I'm in a very, very different place mentally, like my mindset wise right now. So thank you so, so much for the work and being so consistent while giving all the space. So thank you so much for the work.